Day one of Vikings training camp here at TCO. I'm Ahmad Hicks. This is Don Mitchell. A big storyline heading into camp was Danielle Hunter going to report, or was he going to stay absent and take that $50,000 fine as he sought a new contract? But he's here today, so this is making everybody in Purple Nation happy.
Yeah, I know all the players happy to see Danielle Hunter back here, and who wants to pay $50,000
right.
a day? So let me tell you, the head coach and of course the general manager, they're very happy when they saw number 99 come in the house today.
Danielle has reported. He's going through that process right now. It's going to be a day-to-day thing where Danielle and I have had such good dialogue over these last few days, and really trying to build a plan for him that allows him to feel good about coming to work as a Minnesota Viking every single day, and we'll continue to work through the contractual side. I tend to let that be dealt with Kwesi and Rob and the rest of our crew that do a great job with that. But as always, and I try to keep the dialogue and the communication with all of our players open at all times, and I think Danielle feels comfortable communicating with me, and we'll work through it day by day. But he is here. It was great to see him a few minutes ago.
Will he practice?
As of right now, we'll take it a day at a time. I don't expect him to initially be a full practice participant off the bat. We haven't really seen him since last season, and he looks great. He looks like he's Danielle Hunter, as always. But we'll work through a process there and really use this acclimation process to be smart about our entire roster.
What does it mean to you to have him here? I mean, obviously there was a lot of talk that he might have been a holdout.
Yeah.
Does it say something about him, say something about the team?
Yeah, I think through my dialogue with him, not only over the last few days, but throughout the offseason and really last season, Danielle Hunter loves the Minnesota Vikings. He loves his teammates. He feels really strongly, about Mike Smith as his position coach and what we're maybe trying to do defensively with Flo. But there's, I'd be naive to not know that there's another part of that process, which is the business side of things, and I'm 100% understanding and know that those things tend to play out, and my role in all this is to make sure from a football standpoint that we are ready to roll, and all of our players, whenever they're capable, either coming off of an injury or whatever the issue may be that keeps them from the field early on, my role is to make sure that our football team's at their best when it's time to play the Bucs on the 10th. So that's what I'm focusing on, but like I said, it was great to see him. I think it'll mean a lot for his teammates to see him. And we'll just take it a day at a time from there and have a really productive training camp as a football team.
Of course, Kevin O'Connell taking the coach's stance.
For
Kwesi
sure.
saying we're not going to talk about his contract, but it is ongoing. So he won't be a full participant in camp, but we definitely will see him in some participation in some way, shape, or form.
I'm sure he'll be holding a clipboard. He'll be paying attention to all the meetings on the sideline as he seeks that new contract. And just for those who don't know, he's only slated to make $5.5 million this season, which is a lot of money to some, especially people like us. But for a guy who plays outside linebacker, that's not a lot of money, especially when you look at the TJ Watts and the Joey Bosa's and all those guys who are making $20+ million a season. Now, his production wasn't high last year, only 10.5 sacks for Danielle Hunter, but this is a guy who's pretty productive when he does play for them.
But bottom line, in a defense that has Brian Flores, you want a guy that's Danielle Hunter's status, stature, and experience.
Right.
So all in all, it is a win today. And for more on the Vikings, just keep it here online and on any platform for Fox 9. We'll keep you covered all season long. First day technically of Vikings training camp. I'm Don Mitchell alongside Ahmad Hicks. Ahmad, when you have Jordan Addison that comes in and everyone is talking about citing him for that speeding of 140, it can be a hot topic going in, but they're really making us know that this is a one-time deal.
It was a learning lesson for him. And when you think of Jordan Addison, you think speed, but you only want to think of speed on the football field, not the interstate, as he was going 140 miles per hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. But as Kwesi Adofo-Mensah said, and Kevin O'Connell, it's a learning lesson. He's a rookie. It was a mistake, and that's it. Whether the reasoning behind it was truthful or not, they said they don't expect things like this to continue. They said he'll learn from this, but they spoke highly of his character. They said they thought a lot about him before they drafted him, and they still think highly of him. Even his family reaching out to Kwesi to let him know, hey, this is a one-time deal. It won't happen again. So it seems like they're going to brush this one underneath the rug and let it go, but they're also keeping those details in-house about what they're going to do to him and how he's going to learn from this situation. So take a listen to that.
We talked about that, and he mentioned that, and really what I was focused on was more of the making sure he knew exactly that it was a serious thing, and he needs to make sure he understands just exactly what he did wrong, and then go back and in some of these circumstances, the why behind things it's important, but understanding that no matter what the why may be, things like that can't happen again, regardless of whatever may have caused him to drive that fast. It's just not something that can happen again. And I think he's always been a guy through the whole draft process and getting to know him and his family and everything. I have a 100% confidence in Jordan. That he's obviously going to have a great camp, but I still feel very strongly about the type of person and player we added to our team.
Physically, are you going to ease him in, or is he going to be a full participant since you say he's healthy?
Yeah, but the plan of attack right now is he'll be a full participant. What that looks like repetition-wise, will be a day-to-day thing, but he will take part in every period of practice tomorrow.
My relationship with the players is different than Kevin's. I try and sometimes allow him to be that made me give that perspective. But Jordan through the draft process impressed us with what type of person he is, and obviously he made a mistake. But what you see after the fact was from his representatives to his family who reached out to me. This kid was raised right. He knows that what he made was a mistake, and everybody in his life is aligned to make sure that this was a one-time occurrence. We want to make sure that we coach him up and know that this is something that shouldn't happen and was serious. But we believe in Jordan and his future.
I think those are very important words to hear from your general manager, because everyone's thinking, oh no,
Right,
already,
right,
what's going on? But to let everyone know, he comes from good stock. This is a one-time thing.
Right.
There are some people in his camp making sure that perhaps, I don't want to say immature rookie, but they
For
are
sure.
young, that it doesn't happen again. I think this is a good move.
And he has a good leader in his wide receiver coach in Keenan McCardell. Justin Jefferson hasn't gotten in any trouble since he's been here, and KJ Osborne. So I think he has some guys he can learn under here, and I'm certain he won't make that mistake again. So for more Vikings coverage, be sure to stick with us on air and online, as we'll have you covered on all platforms. That's Don Mitchell. I'm Ahmad Hicks.
Day one here officially and technically, if you will, of training camp at TCO Performance Center. I am Dawn Mitchell alongside Ahmad Hicks. Ahmad, I had to ask Kwesi Adofo-Mensah today when everyone was saying the words competitive rebuild, and he was just agreeing with it. I had to say, wait a minute, officially, are you calling this a competitive rebuild?
Right.
And he agreed.
So basically, is what he's alluding to is that there won't be a 13-4 season this year. The Vikings may not win the NFC North. No, I'm just joking. Those are things that he's not going to come out and say. But basically, we all see the writing on the wall. The defense isn't as good as it was last year. Offense may have improved, but in terms of taking that step from a 13-4 season, we know that may not happen. So, and what we view it as, it is a competitive rebuild for the Vikings, but you certainly don't want to hear that from your general manager. You want to say every year is the year that we're going to go win a Super Bowl, but I think Kwesi is a little realistic, and as he shared with us, we'll let you hear it.
I think it is a competitive rebuild in terms of how I viewed it when I got here, right? So if you look back at a 3-year time horizon, that's the plan we set. How do we shift from maybe where they were to getting to where we want to go, but still be good? Ultimately, when we made the playoffs, I'll never forget Kevin and I. That's our first time together, right? We make the playoffs and we look at each other like, man, yeah, we got to make this is too great, right? We got to put we want to be great every year and give ourselves a chance, and so that's kind of what it was. It was, how do you shape shift while still winning, and ultimately that's a little riskier than tearing everything down and being bad for a while and coming back up. I know that, right? I can tell you the mathematical probability of doing it that way, and certainly that's a way that other teams may have chosen, but we didn't. That's not how we're trying to do it. We're trying to be good, figure out a way to be competitive, give yourselves many chances at it so that you can get one or more championships. That's what we believe in here, and we'll always try and pursue that.
It's also an artfully stated way of saying it, right? So
Yeah.
he can be surprised.
Right.
You can have a 13-win season or even better. But let's just be honest that maybe we're not coming out with we're going to win a Super Bowl
Right,
mentality. We are working on things, and we want to be better day by day. So it was kind of couched in between both, which is a smart move in many respects.
Well, and Kwesi said this training camp is all about growth and development. He said they have a lot of players this season that are going to be asked to take on much bigger roles and have a bigger role with this team and to be more impactful this season. So I guess only time will tell how competitive this team will be in 2023.
Well, it's better than just calling it an official rebuild.
Exactly.
It's competitive, and they're working day by day.
So they are trying to win Purple Nation. If they win the NFC North, well, we'll find out later on this season. Now, for more Vikings coverage, be sure to stick with us on air and online. That's Don Mitchell. I'm Ahmad Hicks. It is day one of Vikings training camp, but Kirk Cousins, he was here ahead of schedule. He reported with the rookies, of course, because Kirk Cousins is always trying to get an edge on his competitors. And speaking with us earlier today, if you all saw the Netflix documentary Quarterback, you saw how many shots Kirk Cousins took last year, his ribs that were exposed week in and week out, and all the recovery processes that he took us through. Now he says he has somebody full-time to help him out this year.
Yeah, he hired a full-time body guy, this guy Chad Cook out of Atlanta, that is just going to be his guy, maybe hanging around the Cousins' homes or maybe a member of their family, but just to make sure that they're all on the same page every day. And I think that's a smart move for someone that knows their body well. We saw in the Netflix special that they did know him very well.
Right.
But this takes it that next step. And Kirk explains exactly why he wanted to do this, because he is that mindset kind of guy. He wants one thing, and that's a championship.
Yeah, big one. I hired a guy full time. So I just said, you know what, we had never done that, and I just felt like, you know what, I'm going to go all in. Tom had, Alex Guerrero, and I just felt there was a lot of merit in saying, hey, I got a small window here to maximize, and if I play 1 year more than I otherwise would have because I took it this seriously, then that's well worth it. So decided to go full time, and so that'll be, every free moment I'll be running home to get work, and I think that's time will tell. But I'm excited about not only the benefit of the health, but the peace of mind it gives me, because I know I can just show up, turn my brain off, and he's going to handle it. And I think that's a big help. What's that?
Go ahead. I say, who'd you hire?
He's a guy named Chad Cook. Chad's from Atlanta. We've worked together for a long time, but just felt like it was important to. I was tired of doing the deal. Send me an email, let me know what I need to do. I'll try to do it. I was like, this is for the birds. You got to just hold my hand all the way through it all season long, and I can just show up. And I got too many other things in my plate, and. We did the whole month of June together, and that worked really well, and so we'll just keep that going.
Now, you have to love what Kirk said there. He just wants to extend his playing career by 1 year if he can, by taking care of his body. And he said that he didn't want to go back and forth through emails with Cook about what to do. He said he needed somebody to hold his hand. So hopefully this will get Kirk Cousins game ready by Thursday afternoon, so he's not feeling all that soreness from the previous week.
The funny thing is, Harrison Smith said, I'm glad it's not me, because on a Monday I might be too angry or mad to talk about it. So, Kirk, man, even in the Netflix special, he was so nice and polite about getting into that ice bath. Well, now I'll take it that next step. He has a full-time body guy that can get him ready. So I think that this is a good thing all around, because we all know now just exactly the ribs hurt, everything hurts.
Everything hurts, yeah.
Everything hurts.
It's like you're in a car collision, but I think what we can take away from this is Tom Brady, TB12, and his method, and how many years that put on the back end of his playing career. So if Kirk can get 3 to 4 more years and he chooses to stick around here in Minnesota, well, things may be good for us.
That means water, pliability.
Yeah, stretching.
Right. We have much more on Vikings training camp up for you, not only today, day one, but throughout the rest of the season. You can find us online and, of course, on air. For Ahmad Hicks, I'm Don Mitchell. We'll see you next time.